Network design methodology. This is the second segment of applying methodology to a design. The network design methodology presented in this section is derived from the Cisco's prepare, plan, design, implement, operate, and optimize, or the ppdio methodology, which reflects a network's life cycle. So the following sections describe the ppdio phases and their relation to the network design methodology and the benefits of a lifecycle approach to network design. Subsequent section explains the design methodology in detail. The ppdio network lifecycle approach. So design as an integral part of the ppdio methodology. The ppdio network lifecycle, as illustrated here, reflects the phases of a standard network's lifecycle. So as shown, the ppdio lifecycle phases are separate yet closely related. Let's start with the first phase, prepare phase. The prepare phase involves establishing the organizational business requirements, developing a network strategy, and proposing a high-level conceptual architecture, identifying technologies that can help support the architecture. Financial justification of the network strategy is established by assessing the business case for the proposed architecture. The next one would be plan phase. This phase involves identifying the network requirements, which are based on the goals of the network, where the network will be installed, who will require which network services, and so forth. So the plan phase also involves assessing the sites where the network will be installed and any existing networks and performing a gap analysis to determine if the existing network infrastructure, sites, and operational environment can support the proposed system. So a project plan helps manage the tasks, responsibilities, critical milestones, and resources required to implement the changes in the network. So the project plan should align with the scope, cost, and resource parameters established in the original business requirements. So the output of this phase is a set of network requirements. Okay? So the third phase would be design phase. Okay, or designing the solutions. The initial requirements determined in the plan phase drive the network design specialists' activities. These specialists design the network according to these initial requirements, incorporating any additional data gathered during the network analysis and network audit. So when upgrading an existing network and through discussion with managers and network users. So the network design specification that is produced is a comprehensive detailed design that meets current business and technical requirements and incorporates specifications to support availability, reliability, security, scalability, and performance. So this design specification provides the basis for the implementation activities. So next would be the implement phase. So implement the solution, integrate without disruption or causing vulnerability. Okay. Now in the implement phase, implementation and verification begins after the design has been approved. So the network and any additional components are built according to the design specifications, with the goal of integrating devices without disrupting the existing network or creating points of vulnerability. So the next one would be the operate phase. Okay, so maintain network health, manage, resolve, repair, and replace. Now the operation is the final test to design's appropriateness. So the operate phase involves maintaining network health through day-to-day operations, which might include reducing expenses. So the fault detection and correction and performance monitoring that occur in daily operations provide initial data for the initial considerations on the network lifecycle optimized phase. The last one would be the optimized phase. So operational excellence, adapt to changing business requirements. So the optimized phase is based on proactive network management, the goal of which is to identify and resolve issues before real problem arises and the organization is affected. So reactive fault detection and correction, troubleshooting, are necessary when proactive management cannot predict and mitigate the failures. So in the ppdio process, the optimized phase might lead to network redesign if too many network problems or errors arises. So if performance does not meet expectations, or if new applications are identified to support organizational and technical requirements. So although design is one of the 6 ppdio phases, all the other phases influence design decisions, and the design phase interacts closely with them as follows. Okay? The requirements derived from the prepare and plan phases are the basis of the network design, right? Now, the implement includes the initial verification of the design on the actual network. Now, during the operation and optimize, the final decision is made about the appropriateness of the design based on the network analysis and any problems that arise. So the network might have to be redesigned to correct any discovered errors. Now, what are the benefits of the lifecycle approach to network design? Okay. Now, the network lifecycle approach provides many benefits, including the following. So, lowering the total cost of ownership, identifying and validating technology requirements, planning for infrastructure changes and resource requirements, developing a sound network design aligned with technical requirements and business goals, accelerating successful implementation, improving the efficiency of the network and of the staff supporting it, and reducing operating expenses. Okay, so the next advantages, okay, or benefits would be the increasing network availability. So assessing the state of the network security and its ability to support the proposed design. So specifying the correct set of hardware and software releases and keeping them operational and current. Producing a sound operational design and validating network operations. Also, staging and testing the proposed system before deployment is a must. All right, improving staff skills. Okay, so you have to train your staff, proactively monitoring the system, and assessing availability trends and alerts. Okay, and proactively identifying security, okay, or security breaches and defining remediation plans. All right. Next would be improving business agility. Okay, so establishing business requirements and technology strategies. Readying sites to support the system to be implemented. Integrating technical requirements and business goals into a detailed design and demonstrating that the network is functioning as specified. So expertly installing, configuring, and integrating system components and continually enhancing performance. So the last benefit would be accelerating access to applications and services. Okay, so this includes assessing and improving operational preparedness to support current and planned network technologies, improving service delivery efficiency and effectiveness by increasing availability, resource capacity, and performance. improving the availability, reliability, and stability of the network and the applications running, and managing and resolving issues. Okay? So ppdio network lifecycle approach. Design methodology. So when working in an environment that requires creative production on a tight schedule, for example, when designing a network or internetwork, using a methodology can be helpful. Just like in preparing or doing software development. So we also use methodology on that. Okay? So same thing on the network design. A methodology is a documented, systematic way of doing something. So following a design methodology can have many advantages. So first, it ensures that no step is missed when the process is followed. Okay? It also provides a framework for the design process deliverables. It encourages consistency in the creative process, enabling network designers to set appropriate deadlines and maintain customer and manager satisfaction. Another thing would be it allows customers and managers to validate that the designers have thought about how to meet these requirements. So the design methodology presented here includes 3 basic steps. Some of the design methodology steps are intrinsic to the ppdio design phase, whereas other steps are related to ppdio phases. So these are the 3 steps in the design methodology. So first is identify customer requirements. This is very important. Just like in software development, so the first thing to do is to identify the functional requirements or the customer requirements. So also in the network design, it has to be considered. So in this step, which is typically completed during the ppdio prepare phase, key decision makers identify the initial requirements. So based on these requirements, a high-level conceptual architecture is proposed. So you have also deliverables for each of these phases or steps here. So the next one would be characterizing the existing network and sites. So the plan phase involves characterizing sites and assessing any existing networks and performing a gap analysis to determine whether the existing system infrastructure, sites, and operational environment can support the proposed system. So characterization of the existing network and sites includes site and network audit and network analysis. So during the network audit, the existing network is thoroughly checked for integrity and quality. During the network analysis, network behavior like traffic, congestion, and so forth is analyzed. Okay? Last one would be design the topology and network solutions. So in this step, the detailed design of the network is created. Decisions are made about network infrastructure, infrastructure services, and applications. The data for making this decision is gathered during the first 2 steps. A pilot or prototype network might be constructed to verify the correctness of the plan and to identify and correct any problems as a proof of concept before implementing the entire network. So a detailed design document is also written during this step. It includes information that has been documented in the previous step. When the design methodology is complete, the design implementation process is executed. This process includes the following steps here. So first, plan the implementation. So during this step, the implementation procedures are prepared in advance to expedite and clarify the actual implementation. Cost assessment is also undertaken at this time. So if you still remember, cost assessment is part also of the building block approach. So whatever methodology you use, so they have these similarities. Okay? So this step is performed during the ppdio design phase. Step 2, implement and verify the design. So the actual implementation and verification of the design take place during this step by building a network. So this step maps directly to the implement phase of the ppdio methodology. So take note that a pilot or prototype network verifies the design somewhat somewhere. Okay, however, the design is not truly verified until it is actually implemented. And then step 3, monitor and optionally redesign. So the network is put into operation after it is built. So during operation, the network is constantly monitored and checked for errors. So if troubleshooting problems become too frequent or even impossible to manage, a network redesign might be required. So this can be avoided if all the previous steps have been completed properly. So this step, in fact, is part of the operate and optimize phases of the ppdio methodology.